Welcome to our 6 o'clock hour here on Sunrise. Jason and Alicia here with you. A lot to talk about, a lot of big stories coming up. Your story on the TikTok amputee.
She's hilarious. You got to stick around for that here at 6:45.
Good story there. Also the latest on a standoff. Michelle Beck is live on that. But first we got to check in with John for a look at this warm morning we're having.
Yes, it is crazy. So we have the 60s at 1 or 2. I was like 60 degrees. So what happened is you have this cold front coming in. Whenever the cold front, just before it passes, it gives you a little bump in temperature. And now we have been falling, but it's still 48 out there now. You can see the warmest temperatures are 21 in Menominee, but I want to show you this. So you see the cooler air. It's still in the 40s in St. Cloud. But look at the 50s, still trying to hang on to this little bubble of warmth. 50 in South St. Paul. You can see it's 53 in Menominee. Now that is a cold front, so you get behind it. It's in the 30s. Wilmer, Alexandria, Marshall, you guys are hanging at 30, 31 in Bemidji. But what you can see is the northwest winds. That is dropping us a little bit. You see the southwest wind? That was us about 2 hours ago in Rochester. I think you're going to hang on to the 50s all morning and then go into maybe 70 again. So today we will cool throughout the morning because of the northwest wind and the shift, but then we're still back into the 60s. What a great afternoon. Little breezy today and sunshine, not record breaking, but warm. Cece?
Thanks, John, and good morning. If you're waking up in Minneapolis, here's a look at 94 eastbound at Riverside Avenue. Really all morning, the roads have been really good. So if you're heading out right now, just know that you don't need to add any extra time. Here's a look at the bigger map. I'll have some drive times if you're taking 94 this morning for your commute. When I see you next, Jason.
Cece, thank you very much. We'll see you in a few minutes. Breaking overnight in Oakdale, a shelter-in-place order was just lifted a few hours ago in a residential neighborhood after a standoff.
Yeah, we also just heard from police who say a suspect allegedly shot at them. Now, this is where it all took place, the 100 block of Greystone Avenue North. Michelle is there now with new details from the police chief. Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, good morning to you, Jason, Alicia. The BCA or state authorities are still on scene processing what happened here. But however, things are pretty much safe, definitely safer than before. We know the shelter in place has been lifted.
Hey, get in your house!
Although tense moments, like you just heard there, for everyone. Neighbors looking out their windows would have seen SWAT teams and troopers with their guns drawn, taking cover behind a squad car. Officers were first called to a domestic situation involving someone with a gun. Police say they saw a car they believed was tied to this report and tried to stop it, but the driver did not stop. The man got out and allegedly fired at police before and after he ran into the house on the 100 block of Greystone Avenue. Meanwhile, inside that car was a woman and a baby. We know they were not hurt. In the standoff, the police chief says it's still unclear if officers returned fire.
Very disheartening to see this happen to our police officers. They're there to help somebody who's involved in a domestic situation, and they were confronted with a person that pointed a firearm at them and started shooting rounds at them.
And in the next half hour, we'll hear again from the police chief talking about the standoff between an armed suspect and officers, how the situation really parallels and really hits close to home what we saw less than a month ago in Burnsville. Meanwhile, back on scene, we know that the suspect, after talking with the SWAT team members here outside his home, we know the suspect did walk out of his home and surrendered. That's when he was taken into custody. Jason, Alicia.
Yeah, no doubt the Burnsville situation on a lot of people's minds, but thankfully this had a much more peaceful resolution. All right, Michelle Beck reporting live for us. Thank you. We're also following breaking news from the NFL. Just after midnight, we learned the Vikings are expected to sign former first-round draft pick quarterback Sam Darnold.
It comes about 15 hours after news broke about Kirk Cousins leaving Minnesota to join the Atlanta Falcons. Now, in the last 6 hours, insiders with the NFL Network reported that the Vikings will sign Darnold to a one-year deal worth of up to